संधिनी संवेद त्वय्येका सर्वसंस्थितौ लादतापकरी मिश्रा त्वयि नो गुणवर्जिते लादिनी संधिनी संवेद त्वय्येका सर्वसंस्थितौ लादतापकरी मिश्रा त्वयि नो गुणवर्जिते लादिनी संधिनी संवेद त्वय्येका सर्वसंस्थितौ लादतापकरी मिश्रा त्वयि नो गुणवर्जिते लादिनी संधिनी संवेद त्वय्येका सर्वसंस्थितौ लादतापकरी मिश्रा त्वयि नो गुणवर्जिते. वैष्णवीस. लादिनी संधिनी संवेद त्वय्येका सर्वसंस्थितौ लादतापकरी मिश्रा त्वयि नो गुणवर्जिते. Synonyms: Ladini, pleasure potency; Sandhini, existence potency; Samved, knowledge potency; Tvayi, in you; Eka, one; Sarva samsthitau, who are the basis of all things; Lada, pleasure; Tapa, and misery; Kari, causing; Mishra, a mixture of the two; Tvayi, in you; Na'u, not; Gunavarjite, who are without the three modes of material nature. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. O Lord, you are the support of everything. The three attributes, Ladini, Sandhini, and Samvit, exist in you as one spiritual energy. But the material modes which cause happiness, misery, and mixture of the two do not exist in you, for you have no material qualities. Purport. This text is from Vishnu Puran 1:12-69. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we can highlight the verse again. Let's go back to the verse. All right. Dear devotees, please repeat after me. Ladini sandhini samved त्वय्येका सर्वसंस्थितौ लादतापकरी मिश्रा त्वयि नो गुणवर्जिते. So this verse is in chapter 4 of Ādi-līlā of Śrī-Caitanya-Caritāmṛtam, where the confidential reasons for the appearance of Bhagavan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are being described. And we need to specify, understand the context of the verse, the context, original context in which the verse was spoken. So originally the verse is from Shri Vishnu Puran, and this is from the first Amsha, the first part of Vishnu Puran. Chapter number is 12, and this chapter describes Dhruva Maharaj's austerities and the resultant benediction that Dhruva Maharaj got from Bhagavan. So this original statement is spoken by Dhruva Maharaj to Bhagavan. Dhruva Maharaj goes to the forest in order to perform austerities because Hare Krishna. Maharaj, please take a seat. Dhruva Maharaj goes to the forest to perform austerities, and Dhruva Maharaj is so determined that he doesn't budge from his determination. When he is performing austerities at that particular point of time, the earth becomes burdened by his performance of austerities. And when he puts both his toes on planet Earth, and at that point of time, by the burden of both his toes, the earth starts feeling burdened, and the devatas are agitated and alarmed by the austerities of Dhruva Maharaj. Dear devotees, the devatas obviously do not like the fact that a particular human being is performing such austerities which can challenge the stature even of the devatas. In the Upanishads, it is described that just as animals are cattle for human beings use animals as cattle. Similarly, humans are cattle for the devatas. So similarly, if it ever happens that a particular animal escapes from the cowshed or from the field, the humans don't like it, the humans try to bring back that animal. Similarly, if the devatas see that a human being is trying to escape the cycle of birth and death, the devatas also don't like it very much, because the human being will not liberate himself, he will also take hundreds of people along with him. So that is the problem. And therefore the devatas consider the human beings as cattle, and the devatas try to put various obstacles in the path of a person who is trying to progress. The devatas definitely tried to put obstacles in the path of Dhruva Maharaj's progress. The devatas appointed a special category, it is described in the Vishnu Puran, Kushmanda. Kushmanda is a category of devatas, associates of Bhagavan Shiva, who can take any form that they want. The Kushmandas took the form of the mother of Dhruva Maharaj. His mother's name is Suniti. And Dhruva Maharaj suddenly saw his own mother running in the forest, crying and coming to him, saying that you will die in the forest because of these austerities. Please stop right now, come back. Because childhood is for playing, youth is for enjoyment, and in old age you can perform these austerities. But it was not Dhruva Maharaj's mother, it was actually Kushmand Devata trying to pretend as Dhruva Maharaj's mother. Finally, Dhruva Maharaj did not budge at all, neither did Dhruva Maharaj cry. Finally, Kushmandas manifested another variety of illusion. They showed Dhruva Maharaj that various demons are coming with weapons to slaughter him. Dhruva Maharaj did not budge from his position, even at that particular point of time. So the devatas, they knew that their Maya had failed. And the devatas went to Bhagavan Vishnu. And Bhagavan Vishnu consoled them, saying, don't worry, he doesn't want anything from you. Don't worry, he'll not take over your kingdom. He wants something from me. I will give him what he wants. So all of you go back to your respective abodes. I will give him what he wants. And then Bhagavan Vishnu manifested in front of Dhruva Maharaj. The name of this Bhagavan is known as Dhruva Priya. Shri Rupa Goswami calls Dhruva Priya in Lagu Bhagavatamritam. Some places he is known as Dhruva Narayana. So Dhruva Narayana or Dhruva Priya is the name of that particular form of Bhagwan who manifested in front of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj, he asked Dhruva Maharaj, what do you want? And Dhruva Maharaj said, first and foremost, I want the capacity to glorify you. I have not learnt grammar, Vyakaran. I do not know any dictionaries. I don't have vocabulary. I need power to glorify you. So Bhagavan used his conch shell and touched the kapol, the cheek of Dhruva Maharaj. And at that particular point of time, Dhruva Maharaj started speaking various wonderful prayers. So in the Vishnu Puran, this is one of the prayers. Dear devotees, please repeat after me. Ladini Sandini Samver Tvayeka Sarva Samsthitau Ladtapa Kari Mishra Tvayi no Guna Varjite. Now, Śrī-Caitanya-Mahaprabhu had his favorite commentator on the Srimad Bhagavatam. His name was Srila Sridhar Swami. Srila Sridhar Swami is the original Sanskrit commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srila Sridhar Swami also has written a wonderful commentary on the Vishnu Puran. There are three commentaries that Srila Sridhar Swami has written. One is the commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, which is known as Bhavarth Deepika. Another is his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, which is known as Subodhini. And the third is the commentary on Vishnu Puran, which is known as Atma Prakash. So Srila Sridhar Swami has explained the entire Vishnu Puran by his commentary Atma Prakash. Srila Sridhar Swami says in this very verse, Dhruva Maharaj is glorifying Bhagavan by showing how Bhagavan is different from the Jivas. Because there are many who say that Jiva and Ishwar, Jiva and Bhagavan have no difference. And those are known as Abhedavadis or Advaitavadis. Dhruva Maharaj doesn't believe in that philosophy. Dhruva Maharaj says, utters this verse to show the significance, the specialty of Bhagavan in comparison to the Jivas. Now here the specialty of Bhagavan. What is it that is special in Bhagavan that is not present in the Jivas? So Dhruva Maharaj says, Tvayi Eka. In the second line you can see, Tvayi Eka. Tvayi means Bhagavan in you. Eka, there is one potency. There is one energy, there is one Shakti which is not present in the living entities. What is the name of that potency? So Dhruva Maharaj doesn't specify the name directly here, but Acharyas specify the name as Yogamaya, also known as Antaranga Shakti, also known as Swarup Shakti of Bhagavan. This Swarup Shakti, also known as Yogamaya, also known as Antaranga Shakti, Tvayi Eka, is present only in Bhagavan. Now, dear devotees, Dhruva Maharaj has specified a number, Eka. What is the meaning of Eka? 1. If she is 1, she gets 3 different names. And these 3 different names are specified in the first line. These 3 different names are not 3 different potencies. These are 3 different functions of the same one potency, dear devotees. Very important to understand. These are not 3 different potencies. These are 3 functions of the same internal potency. So what are the names of the 3 functions of the same internal potency? Please repeat after me. Sandhini, Samvet, Hladini. So this is the sequence in which the names should be originally spoken. But Dhruva Maharaj doesn't maintain this sequence. He takes the sequence Hladini, Sandhini, Samvit, because that is how the meter of the verse will be maintained. To maintain the meter of the verse, the order is changed. Otherwise, the original order in which the Acharyas have specified the 3 potencies are Sandhini, Samvit Hladini. And these are not three separate potencies, these are three functions of the same one potency, which is also known as Swarup Shakti, Yogamaya, Antaranga Shakti, different names for the same potency. Now, dear devotees, let us understand first and foremost what are these three potencies. But before we understand them, we should know that these three exist only in one personality. In whom do they exist? Bhagavan. Now, the remaining two lines give the difference between Bhagavan and the Jiva. In the Jiva, these three are not present. So, what is there in connection with the Jiva? So, Dhruva Maharaj says, Hlada Tapa Kari Mishra. Hlada means that potency which gives material enjoyment. Srila Sridhar Swami says, Satviki, Maya in the mode of goodness. Tapakari. Srila Sridhar Swami says, Vishaya Viyoga Tamasi, which means that potency which causes ignorance and suffering due to separation from material enjoyment. Material potency in the mode of ignorance, which causes suffering. And Mishra, mixture of happiness and sadness, which is Rajogun. These three are present with the living entities. Tvai no. They are not present with you, Bhagavan. Tvai, in you, no. Na-u, they are not present. Why? Guna varjite, because you are guna varjit. You are completely free from all the modes of material nature. Dear devotees, hence the distinction between Bhagavan and the Jiva. Because along with Bhagavan, there will always be Swarup Shakti, but along with the Jiva, there will never be Swarup Shakti. Bhagavan will never be affected by the three modes of nature. Jiva has the capability of being affected by the three modes of nature. This is the difference between Ishwar and Jiva that is specified by Dhruva Maharaj in this verse. Now let's understand in detail, dear devotees, what are the three functions of Bhagavan's internal potency. Please repeat after me. Sandhini, Samvet, Hladini. Now let's understand what is Sandhini. Dear devotees, once we understand them through the lens of the previous acharyas, we will not make any mistake at all at any point of time. Let us understand what is Sandhini, what is Samvit, what is Hladini, so that we have a very clear, crisp idea of how Bhagavan's potencies work. In your mind, dear devotees, please think of the spiritual world, Goloka, Vrindavan or Vaikuntha. Any of the abodes in the spiritual world, please think of that. That abode is not empty, that abode has bhumi. Bhumi means land. It has trees, it has rivers, it has mountains, it has so many wonderful facilities. Jai. The abode of the spiritual world has so many objects within it. All these objects are manifested by one function of Bhagavan's potency. That function is known as Sandhini. Srila Jiva Goswami says, and please hear, in the Bhagavad Sandarbh he explains, Sad Rupopi Yaya Sattam Dadhati Dharayati Cha. Bhagavan is Sadrupa. Bhagavan does not need any potency for his own existence. Bhagavan is self-existent. Yet Bhagavan makes use of a potency to make himself manifest and seen by others. Bhagavan makes use of his potency to manifest all the objects in the spiritual world. That potency which pervades all objects, all forms in the spiritual world has one name. And what is the name of that potency, dear devotees? Sandhini. So anything that exists in the spiritual world, whether even if it is Bhagavan's own body, that body is also existing by the assistance of which potency? Sandhini. If this potency disappears, Bhagavan disappears and only the impersonal Brahman remains. Dear devotees, so Sandhini is the one which manifests not only the form of Bhagavan, but the form of all objects. Anything which exists in the spiritual world exists because of Sandhini. This is Sandhini. Sri Jiva Goswami says, Sa sarva desha kala dravya adi vyapti kari. She pervades all locations, all objects, all time, everything she pervades in the spiritual world. Therefore, she is known as what? Sandhini. This is Sandhini, dear devotees. This is present in the spiritual world. She is not present in this world. Please know the difference. Now, simply existence will not do. Besides existence, there are living entities in the spiritual world. They need to have knowledge about each other, knowledge of Bhagavan. Without knowledge, they cannot interact with each other. Therefore, you need another potency which causes knowledge in the spiritual world. That is the second potency. What is the name of that second potency, dear devotees? Samvid. Sri Jiva Goswami explains in Bhagavad Sandarbh, Samvid Rupopi. Bhagavan himself is full of knowledge. He doesn't need any potency for his own knowledge. But he still engages one potency, Samvid. Yaya Samveti Samvedayati cha. He himself knows and he causes others to know in the spiritual world by one potency. Samveti Samvedayati. Bhagavan himself knows and understands everything. Bhagavan causes everybody else to also know and understand whatever their adhikar is. By which potency, dear devotees? Samvid. Now, dear devotees, simply existence and knowledge will not do, because the purpose of spiritual world is not simply to have knowledge that you are Krishna, I am your servant. After having this knowledge, there should be an exchange of something, and that exchange should be of Ananda. Ananda means joy, because the entire purpose of the existence of the spiritual world is exchange of rasa, exchange of joy. And therefore the third potency, and what is the name, dear devotees? Hladini. And Sri Jiva Goswami says, Hlada Rupopi. Bhagavan himself is full of joy. He doesn't need an external potency for manifesting joy. But still he engages one potency. Yaya Samvid Utkata Rupaya Tam Hladam Samveti Samvedayati. He uses one potency to manifest joy within himself and within the other living entities in the spiritual world. Dear devotees, what is this potency known as? Hladini. Sri Jiva Goswami makes a very important point. Samvid Utkata Rupaya. Hladini is also a very enhanced function of knowledge. Happiness is also an enhanced function of knowledge. Because when one becomes happy, one knows, I am happy. I hope you are able to understand. Happiness is also a form of knowledge. Therefore, Hladini is just an enhanced function of Samvit. Samvit simply causes knowledge. Hladini causes the knowledge of being happy. That is the slight difference between Samvid and Hladini. So these are three potencies, three functions of the same Eka, same one internal potency. Now, dear devotees, think of that particular scene where Dhruva Maharaj is seeing Bhagavan face to face. Now, dear devotees, Bhagavan's form is manifested by which particular aspect? Sandhini. Bhagavan's own knowledge which is present within Bhagavan, and the knowledge that Bhagavan is gifting to Dhruva Maharaj by touching the conch is being manifest through which aspect, dear devotees? Samvit. And the happiness which Dhruva Maharaj is feeling and the happiness which Bhagavan is also feeling is manifest by which aspect, dear devotees? Hladini. These three aspects are present in the same personality of Bhagavan. Therefore, Dhruva Maharaj said, Eka. In you, these three are present in one particular personality. Dear devotees, but these three are not present in the Jiva. They are present only in Bhagavan. Therefore, dear devotees, it's very important to understand that this one Swarup Shakti manifests in three different potencies in Bhagavan. Bhagavan is Sarva Samsthitau. Please see in the verse, dear devotees, Sarva Samsthitau. Sarva Samsthiti, Samsthiti means shelter or the basis. Bhagavan is the shelter of everything in the material and spiritual worlds. But dear devotees, if Bhagavan is the shelter of everything, then why are the three modes of nature not present in Bhagavan? Because Dhruva Maharaj is going to say, Tvai no, the three modes are not present in you. The three modes are present only in this world. The three modes are not present in you. So does Bhagavan not support the three modes of nature? Bhagavan has embraced Sandhini, Samvit and Hladini within himself. Bhagavan has not embraced Sattva Gun, Rajo Gun, Tamo Gunmayi, Mahamaya. Has Bhagavan left Mahamaya? Dear devotees, the answer is that Bhagavan indirectly supports Mahamaya without touching it. Without touching her, he is indirectly supporting her. Just like a lotus leaf supports a drop of water without coming in contact with the drop of water. Similarly, Bhagavan supports these three modes of nature without directly coming in contact with these three modes of nature. But because the three modes of nature are not in direct contact with Bhagavan, therefore look at the effect that the three modes generate. Hlada, Tapa, Mishra. They will generate temporary happiness, temporary sadness and temporary mixture. The jiva in the material world becomes influenced by these three. Dear devotees, the jiva becomes influenced by happiness. In the material world, we see happiness in so many things. But dear devotees, is it truly happiness? The question arises, is it truly happiness? When we see something which makes us happy in the material world, it is not a source of happiness, it is actually a source of misery. In the Gita, Krishna has testified to this fact. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkhayo evate adyantavantah kaunteya na te shuramate buddha. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga. Any contact of senses with sense object in the material world, dukkhayo, even though it may seem initially that it is a source of pleasure, know that from the very beginning it is a source of misery. Even though right now it seems that like it is a source of pleasure, even right now it is a source of misery. Let me explain with the help of an example, dear devotees. For example, the highest pleasure in the material world is considered to be the union of men and women, the relationships of men and women considered to be highest pleasure in the material world. Let's take the example of a beautiful man meeting a beautiful girl. Let's say a beautiful girl falls in love with a beautiful man and that man also falls in love with a beautiful girl. At this point of time, dear devotees, please tell me, is it material happiness or material distress? Please tell me. Bolo? Happiness? Mixture? Why mixture? Why can't the poor jiva have material happiness at least in the beginning? Because the boy is looking at the girl, he is saying, I love her very much. But along with that feeling, there are many feelings of distress which are mixed. For example, does she really love me? Will she stay with me? Is her nature compatible to me? Dear devotees, is this happiness or happiness mixed with distress? Please tell me. Happiness mixed with distress. Now, dear devotees, after a few years they get married and after a few years, the girl is also experiencing distress. Does this boy really love me? Will he keep me happy? Will he earn well enough to support me? So even for the girl, it is distress in the very beginning. Then the relationship, they get married, 10 years pass by and the boy and the girl have an argument and the boy says to the girl, I couldn't imagine you have changed so much. Arey Baba, material world has changed so much, why will I not change? Dear devotees, you know. The entire world changes in 10 years and the boy is expecting that the girl will not change. So that is also misery. And when after prolonged staying with each other, when there is separation due to death, that is definitely misery. So yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavantah kaunteya na te shuramate buddha. This is the effect caused by material nature in the living entities. Now, question arises, does material energy exist within the living entities? We know spiritual potency exists within Bhagavan. But does material potency exist within the living entities? Answer is no. Because if material potency were to exist within the living entities, then material potency would be a part of the inherent existence of the living entities. If that would be the case, then happiness and distress, material suffering would be part of constitutional position of the living entities. But please tell me, is material suffering a part of the constitutional position of the living entity? No. Therefore, material potency is not part of the constitution of the living entity. She is not inherent to the living entity. She is inherent only to the material world. She is separated from Bhagavan. She is separated also from the living entity. But she has control over certain living entities. And as soon as the living entity becomes free from these three, then the living entity can either situate itself in the border, Tatastha, also known as Brahma Jyoti, or the spiritual world, also known as Antaranga Shakti. Dear devotees, the constitutional position of the living entity is Tata, border, neither being influenced by spiritual potency, nor being influenced by material potency. Therefore, the living entities are known as a separate potency themselves. Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, and third is known as which Shakti? Tatastha Shakti. Living entity itself is a Shakti. It is not belonging to any of the two categories. Sri Jiva Goswami says in the Paramatma Sandarbh, Ubhaya Kotav Apravishtatvat. Jivas cannot be considered within Mahamaya. Jivas cannot be considered within Yogamaya. Jivas are not present within both categories. Jivas have their own separate category, which is known as Tatastha Shakti. But Jivas can be influenced either by Mahamaya or by Yogamaya. There is possibility that the Jiva can be influenced. Right now, in the material world, all the conditioned Jivas from Anadikal, from beginningless time, are influenced by Mahamaya. In the spiritual world, all the Jivas from beginningless time are influenced by Yogamaya. Therefore, the Jivas in the spiritual world are eternal associates of Bhagavan. The Jivas in the material world are not considered as eternal associates of Bhagavan. Dear devotees, it's very important to understand that the Jiva does not contain either material potency within itself. The Jiva does not contain either spiritual potency within itself. What is the reason? The reason is that, dear devotees, wherever spiritual potency is present, material potency cannot be present. In the first verse of the Bhagavatam, it is said, Dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam. Dhamna means Swashaktya, by his own internal potency, Bhagavan drives away all illusion. So by his own internal potency, Bhagavan drives away all material potency. If internal potency were present within the Jiva, material potency would be driven away and Jiva would never be influenced by material potency. I hope you are able to understand. If material potency were present in the Jiva, then suffering would be part of the eternal constitutional position of the Jiva. That is also not true. Therefore, Sri Jiva Goswami says, Jiva neither have internal potency within themselves, neither have external potency within themselves. Jivas are a separate potency within themselves. They are known as which Shakti, dear devotees? Tatastha Shakti. That is the constitutional position of the Jivas. Now, just because Jivas are Tatastha Shakti doesn't mean that the Jivas cannot be influenced by the internal potency. The Jivas can be influenced. Sri Jiva Goswami says in Priti Sandarbha, he says that Hladini is invested by Bhagavan in the devotee Jivas. He says, Hladinya eva kapi sarvanandati shaini vrittir nityam bhakta vrindeshu eva nikshipyamana bhagavat priti akhyaya vartate. When Bhagavan personally invests Hladini in the Jivas, Hladini is which potency, dear devotees? Pleasure potency, spiritual pleasure potency. When this Hladini is invested by Bhagavan in the Jivas, that Hladini becomes known as Prema, Shri Krishna Prema, Shri Krishna Priti. What is Shri Krishna Priti in the Jivas is nothing but a manifestation of which aspect, dear devotees? Hladini. What is Bhakti? Bhakti is not Sandhini. Bhakti is majorly with Shakti, dear devotees, Hladini. Hladini along with Samvit, because you need knowledge of Bhagavan in Bhakti and you need pleasure of interacting with Bhagavan. So Bhakti mainly is Samvit and Hladini. And Hladini is the main aspect of Bhakti Shakti, because it is by Hladini that the Jiva experiences happiness. It is by Hladini that Bhagavan also experiences happiness. Therefore, this Hladini is invested by Bhagavan in the heart of the Jiva. When Bhagavan invests Hladini in the heart of the Jiva feels that I am discovering it has manifested within my heart. This becomes known as Krishna Prem, another term Bhakti Ras. These Bhakti Rasas are of 4 main types for the devotees: Dāsa, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Shanta is rejected because Shanta is mainly for those who are Brahmavadis and Paramatmavadis. For the devotees, it begins with one ras. Which ras does it begin with, dear devotees? Dasya. Therefore, the name Hari Parshad Das, not Hari Parshad Shant. I hope you are able to. We begin with which ras, dear devotees? Dasya ras. We don't begin with Shanta ras. In the Śrī-Caitanya-Caritāmṛtam, it is specified, Shantera Svabhava Krishne Mamata Gandhahina Parabrahma Paramatma Jnana Pravina. Shantera Svabhav. It is the nature of Shantaras that not even the slightest intimacy for Bhagavan exists. Instead, knowledge of I am Brahma exists within such jivas. Therefore, those who are Brahmavadis, those who merge into the impersonal existence, are experiencing Shantaras. The impersonalists are also experiencing one ras. But which ras is that, dear devotees? Shantaras. The devotees are experiencing the remaining 4, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. Some devotees are experiencing a combination of 2 or more. That is also called as Sankularati. For example, Uddhava is experiencing Dasya along with Sakhya. Uddhava is also servant of Bhagavan. Uddhava is also a friend of Bhagavan. Uddhava doesn't fit purely in Dasya ras. Uddhava doesn't fit purely in Sakhya ras. Uddhava's reciprocation towards Bhagavan is a combination of Dasya and Sakhya, also known as Sankularati by Sri Rupa Goswami. Dear devotees, in this way, Sandhini, Samvit and Hladini, they are present only within Bhagavan. And only when Bhagavan decides that he will give this potency in the heart of a certain devotee, does the devotee experience genuine attraction towards Bhagavan. Till that time, a devotee is supposed to practice the activities of sadhana bhakti, which is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam. It is not Sakhyam, dear devotees. Sakhyam with the short Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. Dear devotees, a devotee is supposed to practice these activities of sadhana bhakti till the point of time Bhagavan doesn't decide to manifest prema in the heart. Prema cannot be bought by us by movement of our senses. Please know this thing. I have chanted 16 rounds for 25 years. Now Bhagavan must give me prema. Wrong. Bhagavan will give only when he desires. Bhagavan cannot be forced in a contract to give prema. Bhagavan may not give. Bahu janma kare yadi shravana kirtan, tabu tana paye Krishna pade premadhan. This is not a contract that 16 plus 4, 16 rounds and 4 regulative principles multiplied by 25 years. Bhagavan, now you must give me prema. You cannot force Bhagavan to give prema like this. Therefore, one of the 6 characteristics of Uttama Bhakti given in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu is Sudurlabha. Sudurlabha means, although it's very easy to begin the path of Bhakti, it is very rare to attain the other end of Krishna Prem. Dear devotees, it is very, very rare that a person will finally understand what Bhakti is about. Bhakti is also about external movement of senses. Putting your hand in the bead bag, moving your fingers, chanting your mala, performing sankirtan, taking Parshad. External movement of senses is also Bhakti. But really, the spirit of Bhakti is to have Hladini within the heart in the form of Krishna Prem. Without the presence of that Hladini within the heart, external movements can only take us so far, not till the final goal, which is to have an eternal relationship with Bhagwan in one of the four rasas in the spiritual world. But that will only happen when Bhagwan will nikshipyamana. Nikshipyamana means he will invest this potency within our hearts. But why should Bhagwan invest? Bhagwan has said in the Gita, Samoham sarva bhuteshu na me dveshyosti na priya. I am equal to all living entities. I am partial to nobody. So if Bhagwan invests his priti, Hladini Shakti in you, Bhagwan should also invest in you and in me and in everybody. So that is not how it works, dear devotees. Bhagwan invests his Hladini Shakti only in a devotee who has been touched by the grace and mercy of an existing devotee who has prema. Bhagwan is non-biased, but the devotees who are giving Bhagwan are biased. They may give to a certain person, they may not give to a certain person according to their desire. Whomsoever a premi bhakta, a loving devotee gives his priti to, Bhagwan gives his priti to that particular devotee. Therefore, Sadhu Sangha is considered as the birthplace of bhakti. In the Śrī-Caitanya-Caritāmṛtam it is said, Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Haya Sadhu Sangha. The root of developing Krishna Prem is Sadhu Sangha, because in most cases, Krishna is not going to come and invest Hladini directly within our heart. In most cases, it is by the mercy, the recommendation of an existing Premi Bhakta who has that potency within the heart, that we are also going to get that potency within our heart. That is how the entire process works, and that is how, although Bhagwan is impartial, still you see some people have bhakti and some people do not have bhakti. Some people have priti, some people do not have priti, because they have been touched by the grace of those devotees who have priti. Those who have been touched by the grace of those who have priti, they can have priti. Those who are yet to be touched, for them there is still some time. They should continue to execute limbs of sadhan bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. In this way, the entire science of Sandhini, Samvit and Hladini is understood. All right. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Yadatra skhalitam kinchid vidvam saha purayantu tat. Yadatra saushthavam kinchid tad guroreva me nahi. Yadatra skhalitam kinchid. It's possible that while speaking something, I might have made a mistake. If I've made a mistake, vidvam saha, you are learned devotees, purayantu tat, please correct any mistake. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit. But if there's something nice in the talk, please remember, dear devotees, tad guroreva, it belongs to my gurujanas. Me nahi, it doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Hemagiri Prabhu, for kindly inviting me. Thank you, Brajari Prabhu. Thank you, all the wonderful senior devotees. Thank you, Maharaj, for kindly being present here. Thank you, Ananta Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much, dear devotees. So we have time for question and answers. Yes, we have ample time for Q&A. Now is the time for question and answers, objections, criticism. I didn't like this. I didn't like, why did you speak this? So that time begins now, dear devotees. Please, let's have Q&A. Yes, let's give the mic to Prabhu.
So you started the class by saying that demigods, the one who's performing austerity, the like we treat animal like we are in a higher position than animal. So we wouldn't want animal to get above us. So
Right.
similarly, the demigods also doesn't
Right.
want. But on the contrary, we see that one who becomes devotee of Lord Krishna, it is said even in Bhagavatam that even in Bhagavad Gita, he doesn't. Everyone is happy. The forefathers, the demigods, everyone is pretty much satisfied with that.
Yeah. Yes.
So how then it is? It sounds almost contrary. If someone is performing something for Narayana and the demigods are kind of creating an obstacle, it's kind of an offense also.
Yeah. So wonderful question. Just like I said that animals are cattle for human beings, and human beings don't like that any one of their cattle should escape. they try to prevent cattle from escaping. Similarly, in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Vartiksar, it is mentioned that humans are considered as cattle by the Devatas. The Devatas want human beings should continue to perform their duties, perform yajna, so that we will get nourished. I hope you are able to understand. So, if human beings stop doing that, instead human beings start doing austerities, now the Devatas, they start developing a little headache because of that, because they have some anxiety that perhaps this person will try to conquer us or take over our kingdom by the dint of his or her austerities. When Prithu Maharaj was executing sacrifices, his aim was to execute how many? 100 Ashwamedh Yajnas. And now there was somebody who was not happy with that. Who was not happy with that? Indra. It's a testimony to the fact. And then, although Prithu Maharaj, he's Bhagwan's Shakti Avesh Avatar, but he's playing the role of a Jiva. He's playing the role of a king. So Indra does everything within his capability to make sure that Prithu Maharaj's 100 sacrifices are not successful. So the Devatas only obstruct that Jiva with whom they have a fear that this person may perhaps, by his practice of Ashtanga, Jnana or Bhakti Yoga, may try to take over our kingdom. But as soon as the Devatas are relieved, this person doesn't want our kingdom. Oh, all right. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. We will give you some gifts. And therefore, yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunais tatra samasate suraha. Akinchana bhakti. As soon as they discover that this person has akinchana bhakti means he doesn't want our kingdom. Sarvair gunai. We will give you all our good qualities. No problem. Because you are not a competition to us. But as soon as the Devatas detect a little bit of competition, then pratyavai, vighna, they will put immense amount of difficulties on the path of the progressing sadhaka. Whether the sadhaka is practitioner of Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. The Devatas know the mind of a person. Tomorrow, while due to the practice of his Bhakti Yoga, if he is offered Swarga, he will take it. The Devatas know. Although he is pretending to be a devotee right now, tomorrow if Swarga is offered to him, he is going to take it immediately. Let us put some obstacles on his path. But if he has akinchana bhakti, I don't want anything from you. In fact, I don't even want to go back home, back to Godhead. Bolo, I don't want anything even from Bhagavan. Chalo, now tell me, Devatas, would you like to put any obstacles in the path? No, we don't want to put any. You don't want anything? No. You don't want to go back home, back to Godhead? No. Alright, so that is the attitude of the devotee. The devotee is not even hankering to go back home, back to Godhead. Because that desire also causes so much anxiety in the heart of a devotee. If I don't chant my rounds properly, I will not be able to go back to Godhead. If I don't do this properly, I will not be able to go back to Godhead. Ultimately, that is a desire for one's own happiness. Therefore, the devotee's desire is wherever I am, I will render service to Bhagavan. If Bhagavan wants, Bhagavan can call me to his abode whenever he wants. Otherwise, I am happy to render service wherever I am. So that is the attitude of the devotee. The devotee becomes immediately happy by adopting this attitude. Alright, so I hope that answers your query. Thank you.
One more question.
Okay, can we come back? Sure, yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, you were telling about Tatastha Shakti.
Tatastha
Shakti, yes. So in 4th canto, I think 11th or 12th chapter I was reading. I don't remember text, but Srila Prabhupada was saying in purport that the marginal potency is not, because it is marginal, it can never be eternally conditioned. The word eternal is put because it is from so long that it is almost eternal.
Right.
So my question regarding to that is that does it apply same for after when the Jiva gets liberated from and he goes back home or he achieves prema, so then he will be eternally, or again if there is a chance of, because it is tatastha, right? So sometimes here or sometimes there.
Yeah. So very good question. Jiva is tatastha, marginal potency. And Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, because the Jiva is marginal potency, therefore the Jiva cannot be eternally conditioned. But in a sense, the Jiva is also eternally conditioned. Many places, the Jiva, or by Prabhupada himself, it is said eternally conditioned. So what is the meaning? The meaning, the original Sanskrit term is Sanatana. Sanatan means, Sanatan has many meanings. Please hear the meanings of Sanatan. First meaning of Sanatan is Anadi Santa. Anadi Santa means beginningless but has an end. I hope you are able to understand. Beginningless but has an end. This is one meaning of Sanatan. So Jiva's conditioning is beginningless but it has an end. Therefore the Jiva is eternally conditioned, yet the Jiva is not eternally conditioned. I hope you are able to understand. Now Jiva goes to the spiritual world. Now the existence in spiritual world is Sadi, it has a certain point of time, but it is Ananta, it will never end. So from one point of view, the Jiva's existence in the spiritual world is also eternal. Yet not eternal, because right now for the conditioned Jivas it doesn't exist. So beginningless but with an end is also Sanatan. Beginning and without an end is also Sanatan. Beginningless and endless is also Sanatan. I hope you are able to understand. All these three are known as Sanatan. So therefore sometimes you will find Srila Prabhupada saying the Jiva is conditioned since beginningless time. And then you will also find Srila Prabhupada saying Jiva's conditioning is going to have an end. So it is Sanatan, yet it is not Sanatan in that particular respect. So I hope that answers your query.
So regarding that, will the material world ever be empty? Because it is said Supreme Lord's pastimes are eternal pastimes. So eternal means always. So that also means that material world is also always. So
will the material world ever be empty?
Yes.
No. Because in the Bhagavad Gita commentary, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan has specified 5 topics of the Bhagavad Gita. Ishwar, Prakriti, Kal, Karma, Jiva. All 5 are going to remain eternally in the material world. Ishwar is going to remain permanently in the material world in the form of the 3 Paramatmas. Who are the 3 Paramatmas in the material world? Karanodaka Shai Vishnu, the Paramatma of the entire existence. Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu, the Paramatma of every individual universe. Shirodaka Shai Vishnu, the Paramatma of every atom. That Bhagavan is going to remain eternally in the material world. So Ishwar, Prakriti, material nature is always going to remain. She will never be fully destroyed. Sometimes she attains Samya Avastha after destruction, and sometimes she is manifest. Alright, so this is Prakriti is going to. Kal is also going to be there. Karma is also going to be there eternally. And Jivas are also going to be there eternally. So Ishwar, Prakriti, Kal, Karma and Jiva as principles of material world are going to be present eternally. But individual karmas of Jivas may get exhausted, but karma as a whole principle is going to stay eternally. Now, as long as karma as a principle is going to stay eternally, there have to be Jivas who are recipients of that karma. As long as there are Jivas who are recipients of those karma, there has to be Shakti, Prakriti to control the Jivas. As long as there is Shakti, Prakriti, there has to be Kal, which agitates the Prakriti. And as long as there is Kal, there has to be Ishwar, who is going to control Kal and Prakriti and Jiva. Therefore, all these are eternal. There is no question of them ever getting exhausted. Infinite are Jiva hi asankhyeya. Asankhyeya. The living entities are infinite. Even inside an atom, there are thousands of living entities, says Sri Madhvacharya. Inside an atom, there are thousands of living entities. So it is very much impossible for living entities and material world to get exhausted at any point of time. That is the answer to the query. All right. Yes.
One question. You mentioned that we are Tatastha Shakti, right?
Tatastha Shakti.
So my question is, at that point of time, before we became conditioned, did we have a form? And when we became conditioned, did that form undergo any change? That's the question.
The thing is, this question is going in that direction, that direction where, how did the Jiva fall? So I'm happy doing that discussion, but I don't want to get into any, Remember one thing, and I'd like to point out this verse. We have to take the verdict of the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam says, Anadi avidya yoktasya. Anadi means beginningless. The meaning of the term Anadi is beginningless. So, the conditioning of the jiva is explained as beginningless. Yet, Acharyas also give an origin story that the jiva became conditioned at a certain point of time. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, all Acharyas will tell you, in Jaiva Dharma chapter 15, Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, all Acharyas will tell us that there is a certain point of time at which the jiva became conditioned. But at the same time, all Acharyas know, he says in Jaiva Dharma, that this is only so that we can explain to everybody how you are conditioned. Because ordinary living entities cannot understand Anadi, beginningless. How are we in the material world since beginningless time? Because whatever experience we have experience of seeing things which have beginning and end. Suddenly somebody comes to us and says, your existence in the material world doesn't have a beginning. Srimad Bhagavatam says in the 11th canto, Anadi avidya yuktasya. Your existence in the material world doesn't have a beginning. The jiva is unable to wrap his mind around the concept of Anadi, beginningless. Therefore, the Acharyas give an origin to the jiva so that we can be peaceful. All right, something happened, therefore I am in the material world. So, both things are there, but if you see from the Srimad Bhagavatam point of view, the previous Acharya's point of view, the conditioning of the jiva is beginningless, so there is no point of asking what was the state of the jiva before conditioning, because the conditioning is beginningless. Right? That is the answer to the query. Yes.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, आप क्लास में बता रहे थे कि जिससे हम अगर कोई बाह्य रूप से कोई माला जपता है या कोई भी कार्य करता है तो उससे कृष्ण प्रेम प्राप्त नहीं होगा। और दूसरा चीज आपने ये भी बताया कि अगर कोई व्यक्ति भाव भक्ति के स्तर पर है, जो कृष्ण प्रेम में स्थित है, उसका अगर कोई व्यक्ति शरण ले तो यही एक उपाय है। तो प्रभु जी, जैसा कि आज देखा जाता है कि आप तो बोल रहे थे कि देवता लोग रुकावट पैदा करते हैं। प्रभुपाद जी एक पृथु महाराज वाले प्रसंग में एक परपट में लिखते हैं कि स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर, प्योर डिओटी और पृथु महाराज के जैसे सक्तावेश अवतार, इनका आश्रय लेके अगर कोई भक्ति करता है तो कृष्ण उसको सुरक्षा प्रदान करते हैं। तो प्रभु जी, आज के डेट में ऐसा देखा जाता है कि जैसे गुरु है, शुद्ध भक्त की हम बात करते हैं, तो वहां तक पहुंचने में देवता तो प्रभु जी बाद में आते हैं, पहले भक्त लोग ही रुकावट पैदा कर देते हैं। ऐसा बताया जाता है कि देखो, गुरु के तो इतने सारे शिष्य हैं, कितने लोग गुरु से मिल सकते हैं, तो खाली गुरु जी की वाणी की सेवा करो, गुरु जी की सेवा इतनी महत्वपूर्ण नहीं है। जबकि प्रभुपाद जी एक भागवतम के एक परपट में ये भी लिखे हैं कि जब तक गुरु भौतिक रूप में उपस्थित है तो गुरु की भी सेवा करनी चाहिए। तो प्रभु जी, इसके बारे में जरा आप विस्तार से बताएंगे तो अच्छा है।
ठीक है, तो हिंदी में प्रश्न पूछा है तो हिंदी में उत्तर दूंगा। ठीक है, आई होप दोज हु आर नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड, आई विल गिव अ समरी एट द एंड ऑफ माय आंसर। सबसे पहले आपने ये कहा कि केवल, मैंने जो बोला था, मैंने ये नहीं कहा था कि केवल माला जपने से प्रेम प्राप्त नहीं होगा। मैंने कहा था माला जपना ये प्रेम प्राप्त करने की गारंटी नहीं है, ये मैंने कहा है। ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं होगा, पर ये उसकी गारंटी नहीं है। गारंटी इस पथ पर तभी मिल सकती है जब किसी शुद्ध प्रेमी भक्त के हृदय से लादिनी शक्ति हमारे हृदय में प्रविष्ट हो, अन्यथा कोई गारंटी नहीं है। तो ये पहला स्पष्टीकरण। दूसरा, ये जो आपने गुरुजनों के सानिध्य के विषय में प्रश्न पूछा कि आजकल बहुत सारे भक्त ऐसा बोलते हैं कि गुरुजनों के पास जाके सेवा मत करो, वाणी की सेवा करो, वपु की सेवा मत करो। तो बात यह है कि ये शास्त्रों के विरोध में है, ये स्पष्ट रूप से कहना चाहिए। आज हमको व्यासासन दिया गया है तो हम जो व्यास जी कहते हैं वो हमें कहना चाहिए, क्योंकि ब्राह्मण वो होता है जो कभी झूठ ना कहे। आप समझ रहे, व्यास पीठ पर है कि कभी झूठ ना कहे। तो ये गलत बात है ये कहना कि केवल वाणी की सेवा करो और वपु की सेवा मत करो, क्योंकि इसका सीधा विरोध है श्री रूप गोस्वामी जी के भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु में, जहां पर श्री रूप गोस्वामी जी ने भक्ति के पहले 4 अंग गिनाए हैं। उसमें से पहला अंग है गुरु पदाश्रय, तस्मात् कृष्ण दीक्षादि शिक्षणम, और तीसरा अंग है विश्रम्भेण गुरोः सेवा। विश्रम्भेण, विश्रम्भ से गुरु की सेवा। विश्रम्भेण का अर्थ होता है विश्वासेन, विश्वास पूर्वक गुरु की सेवा। अब वो विश्वास से गुरु की सेवा कब करे? जो गुरु को जानता ही नहीं है, जिसको गुरु के स्वभाव ही पता नहीं है, जिसको गुरु के विषय में कुछ, क्या गुरु को क्या पसंद है क्या नापसंद है। यस्य प्रसादाद भगवत प्रसादो यस्य अप्रसादान न गति कुत। अरे गुरु का प्रसाद किस में है, गुरु का अप्रसाद किस में है, जिसका इसको ही भान नहीं है, वो कहाँ से गुरु की सेवा करके कहाँ से उसको प्राप्त करेगा। लेकिन विडंबना ये है आजकल, ये बात भी सत्य है कि अनेक गुरुजनों के इतने शिष्य हैं कि गुरुजन स्वतः ही अनेक शिष्यों के प्रति ध्यान देने में असमर्थ दिखाई देते हैं। इसीलिए श्री रूप गोस्वामी जी भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु में एक और बात ये भी कहते हैं, बहु शिष्य कलाभ्यास व्याख्यावाद विवर्जनम। ये भक्ति के 64 अंगों में से एक है। अनेक शिष्यों को कदापि स्वीकार नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि अनेक शिष्यों को स्वीकार करने से शिष्यों के प्रति हमारा ध्यान बढ़ जाता है और फिर उतना उतना कम ध्यान हमारा शिष्यों के प्रति जाता है। तो 64 अंगों में से एक अंग ये भी है कि अनेक शिष्यों को स्वीकार कदापि नहीं करना चाहिए। फिर भी यदि स्वीकार कर लिया हो तो जिस शिष्य के प्रति ध्यान नहीं जा पा रहा है उस शिष्य को ये अनुमति दे देनी चाहिए कि देखिए हम आपकी तरफ ध्यान नहीं दे पा रहे हैं, आप दूसरा कोई शिक्षा गुरु जिसके साथ आप विश्रम्भेण गुरु सेवा, गुरु के साथ करने वाले सारे कर्तव्य आप उसके साथ करो, ये मैं आपको अनुमति देता हूं। ये अनुमति देने वाला उदार हृदय का गुरु ही शिष्य के कल्याण का कारण होगा। किंतु जो गुरु ना तो खुद की सेवा करने दे ना दूसरों की सेवा में लगने दे, उसके लिए श्री जीव गोस्वामी भक्ति संदर्भ में कहते हैं दोनों तरफ से विघ्न होगा शिष्य के लिए। ऐसे शिष्य के लिए दोनों तरफ से, क्योंकि गुरु ना तो खुद की सेवा करने दे रहा है ना दूसरों की सेवा में लगने दे रहा है। इसीलिए गुरु यदि शिष्यों को व्यक्तिगत सेवा में या व्यक्तिगत उपदेश ना दे सके तो कम से कम शिष्य को इतना आदेश दे देना चाहिए कि दूसरे किसी वैष्णव की सेवा करके तुम वो प्राप्त करो जो पूर्व के आचार्यों ने प्राप्त किया है। ये इस जिज्ञासा का समाधान है। समाज में हम रहते हैं, पहले के वैष्णव लोग बड़ा समाज बनाकर भक्ति नहीं करते थे, आज हम बड़ा समाज बनाकर भक्ति करते हैं। 500 साल पहले बड़ा समाज बनाकर हजारों लाखों के संख्या में भक्ति नहीं करते थे, अकेले वृंदावन में किसी कुटीर में रह के भजन करते थे। इसलिए एक गुरु के साथ एक शिष्य का सानिध्य आसानी से हो पाता था। आज बड़ा समाज बनाकर भक्ति कर रहे हैं, इसलिए गुरु एक है पर शिष्य हजारों हैं, कभी कभी लाखों हैं। इसलिए आज के परिप्रेक्ष्य में यह कहना पड़ रहा है कि फिर भी हर शिष्य को जो अपना आत्मकल्याण चाहता है उसको एक ऐसा शिक्षा गुरु अवश्य होना चाहिए जिस शिक्षा गुरु के साथ वो विश्रम्भ से विश्वास पूर्वक उनके साथ संग कर सके। वरना हृदय की ग्रंथि कौन भेदेगा? पुस्तक हृदय की ग्रंथि नहीं भेदेगा। हृदय की ग्रंथि भेदने के लिए गुरु होना चाहिए, और वो गुरु जो व्यक्तिगत रूप से समझाए हमारे जीवन के समस्याओं का समाधान क्या है। श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद जी से यही प्रश्न पूछा गया था। उन्होंने बोला था प्लेटफॉर्म स्पीकर जो होता है, प्लेटफॉर्म स्पीकर, ये जो मैं प्लेटफॉर्म पे बैठा हूँ, प्लेटफॉर्म स्पीकर जो होता है जो हजारों को उपदेश देता है, वो वैसा है जैसे हजारों रोगियों को पेन किलर दे दिया, आप समझ रहे, पैरासीटामोल दे दिया, पर सबके रोग अलग अलग है, सबका रोग एक नहीं है। तो जिसका रोग जो है उसके रोग के लिए उसकी विशिष्ट दवा उसको देनी पड़ेगी। पर प्लेटफॉर्म स्पीकिंग क्या होता है, एक क्लास में से सबके लिए जनरल उपदेश दे दिया, सबको बोल दिया ये लो पेन किलर लो, कुछ समय के लिए सबको ठीक लगा, लेकिन उसका मूल रोग जड़ से उखड़ा नहीं, इसीलिए उसका निवारण नहीं हुआ। उसके लिए टेलर मेड कस्टम मेड सोल्यूशन किसी गुरु के पास जाके उसको लेना होगा। इसलिए शिक्षा गुरु की नितांत आवश्यकता इस पद पर है उन लोगों के लिए जिनको दीक्षा गुरु का सानिध्य प्राप्त नहीं हो पा रहा है। अच्छा, जब शिक्षा गुरु लें इस बार तो ऐसा लेवें जिसके साथ सानिध्य प्राप्त हो रहा है, क्योंकि दीक्षा गुरु जब लिया तब ऐसा लिया जिसका सानिध्य प्राप्त नहीं हो पा रहा था, पर कम से कम शिक्षा गुरु तो वो ले जिसका सानिध्य प्राप्त हो पा रहा है। इन इंग्लिश आई विल से द क्वेश्चन वाज दैट इफ the association of the guru is not available and there are devotees who are preventing such association, what should be done? The solution is that one should take a shiksha guru with whom one can perform all the functions that one performs with the diksha guru. Such a shiksha guru should be selected in such a way that according to the directions of the shastra, shrotriyam brahmanishtam, the guru should be firmly fixed in shastra and understanding of shastra. That guru is the one who can deliver the disciple and open the knots within the heart. One should, Prabhupada says in a purport, one should not take a guru out of social convention or popularity. One should take a guru according to the capability of the guru in uprooting the knots of material bondage within the heart. That is the criteria which should be used to select a guru. That criteria is Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam as mentioned in the Shastra. Otherwise, the devotee may have to undergo the distress of not having proper instruction. ये आपके जिज्ञासा का उत्तर है. ठीक है?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Vemgiri Prabhu, you have to tell me when to stop. Okay? Anybody else? Yes, Mataji.
Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Prabhuji, you mentioned that we do not contain the material energy within us as jivas, but we are known as Satchidanand units. So how to understand that we don't contain the internal energy also within us?
Jiva is not known as Satchidananda because if Jiva was Satchidananda, right now the Jiva should have experienced Ananda. Right now, is the Jiva experiencing Ananda?
But as Prabhupada explains in...
Of course, sure. I am speaking about Pratyaksh experience. Right now, are most of the Jivas in the material world experiencing Ananda? No. So the Jiva is Satchidananda only in contact with Bhagavan. Please try to understand. Whenever the Jiva is explained as Satchidananda, it is only because of the Jiva's contact with Bhagavan. Because Ananda in the material world is not really Ananda. As I explained in the talk, yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate. Joy in the material world is mixed with suffering. There is no pure joy in the material world which is unmixed with suffering. Even while enjoying, there is the suffering, it is going to go away. Even at the time of enjoyment, there is the suffering that it is going to go away. Therefore, there is no real enjoyment in the material world from that point of view. For example, even if a person, there are many restaurants in Mumbai and they offer unlimited food. And somebody pays 1,000 rupees for unlimited food. He pays 1,000 rupees, he takes the plate. In his mind, there is the unhappiness, will I be able to recover my 1,000 rupees? Even while enjoying, he is unhappy. Please try to understand. Even while enjoying, he is unhappy. That is the nature of the happiness in the material world. At least at that time, he should be happy. Now you have paid. Now at least now you be happy. No, I have to recover my 1,000 rupees from this plate. And if he tries to recover his 1,000 rupees by eating too much, that will lead to another form of unhappiness the next day. So that is, the Jiva is Satchidananda only in connection with Bhagavan, just as iron becomes red hot in connection with fire. Otherwise, devoid of the fire, the Jiva has Sat, eternal existence. But the Jiva does not have Chit and Ananda within it because of separation from Bhagavan. If Jivas would have had Chit and Ananda within them, then natural bliss and natural knowledge would flow from everybody's heart. But that is not the case with the conditioned Jivas. The conditioned Jivas are separated. And if the Jiva would be always, if the conditioned Jivas would also be Satchidananda, then the Jivas would not be known as Vibhinna Amsha. Jivas would be known as Swa Amsha. Are the Jivas known as Swa Amsha or Vibhinna Amsha? Vibhinna Amsha. The meaning of Vibhinna is they have something separate from Bhagavan. They have Sat. They have eternal existence. But Chit and Ananda are only present when they are in close contact with Bhagavan, not otherwise. I hope that answers your query. Right? Thank you. Anybody else? You wanted to ask? Sure. Let's give the mic to Prabhu.
This is in connection with the same question, but the context is different. So let's say that the demigods, they don't want us to, any jiva to, they want to perform their duty and they want to enjoy the fruits what we give them. So it can also happen within, let's say, within a devotee community. Let's say I am a devotee. I want him to advance. Let's say I want him to get the mercy, but slightly less than me.
Yeah.
I don't, because look, So this is what happens. So even in preaching, so it becomes an obstacle with that pure preaching. So what I will tell, you read Srila Prabhupada books, you do that, but you also do job 9 to 5, and you give some donation, and you come attend Saturday and Sunday program only, and I'm your Prabhuji, and everyone else, you avoid listening to many people because it will be harmful for you. So you just maybe listen to me, and so I don't want to actually, really, I don't want him
you,
to see the
you
grow
want
up.
to see him advance to in the real
yeah,
sense.
yeah, like a real parent would see the child grow. A parent would be like that and become even more successful. But I want to abstract him, like, I don't want him to express give him the pure thing. So I just heard this from Radhanath Maharaj, like, so I just wanted to ask, like, what's going on here?
In what context did you hear this?
Maharaj told that this is an anartha, like
It's an
that,
unearth.
yeah,
All right,
it's
yeah, yeah. So there is a subtle anartha in the heart which is known as kuti nati. Kuti nati is duplicit behavior. Duplicit behavior means externally pretending to be somebody and internally being somebody else. That is called kuti nati. That is the exact name mentioned in the Śrī-Caitanya-Caritāmṛtam. So this duplicitous behavior takes the form of being nice to devotees but internally not desiring their true welfare. First and foremost, if a particular devotee has come to bhakti through our means, if we are the instrument of bringing them to bhakti, then our responsibility is that if we are not going to act as their diksha or shiksha guru, then we should direct them to a proper diksha or shiksha. We should give them the teachings by which they will be able to recognize a valid diksha and shiksha guru. This is our duty. The Vartma Pradarshan, show the path. On the path also, we should tell them, see, Shastra says these are the initial obstacles and we should trust their intelligence. You will be able to avoid. My duty was to tell you, these are the obstacles. If I see you falling victim to any of the obstacles, I'll let you know. This is what the Vartma Pradarshak should do. Till the time the devotee has not found a guru according to their choice, till that time we are supposed to guide them. Once they have found a guru according to their choice, then the main responsibility of that particular individual is with their guru. That is the responsibility of the person who introduces a person to Krishna consciousness. Now I introduced you, you are mine. It is dukkha for you only. I hope you are able to understand. So, अपने सर पे क्यों दुख लेना? Why take unhappiness? You are getting involved with a person who is having rag and dvesh, and you are trying to control his rag and dvesh. Meanwhile, you are getting involved with your own rag and dvesh. What is this going to result in? Happiness or suffering? Suffering, na? तो अरे आप बुद्धिमान है तो suffering, why to take suffering? That is the simple understanding. No, I will be controller of 1,000 devotees. And what will you do? And then I will be known as a big devotee. And then what will you do? And then I will be remembered as that great devotee who preached to thousands of people. And people will celebrate my birthday every year. Acha, then what will you do? अरे इस सब में there is no discussion of Krishna Prem. तुम्हारा जो main चीज है, वो रहेगा side में. That is sidelined. So it's very important to understand Atma Kalyan, real benefit of the self, is by following the path that previous acharyas have shown. Previous acharyas have said, don't get into these things. You may be guiding thousands of devotees, but guide them only till the point that they reach their guru. Once they reach their guru, diksha, shiksha guru, then your job is mostly done. If in the future you see something going severely wrong with them, then you tell them or you tell their guru privately. Don't say publicly. Tell them privately. Tell their guru privately. Otherwise, you have no other business. If you are the shiksha or diksha guru, let's say, then the responsibility is very heavy and severe. Because the guru is supposed to liberate the disciple. अब guru ही बांधने लग गया. You don't listen to other people. I hope you are able to understand. Bhagavatam says, Nahi ekasmat guror jnanam susthiram syat supushkalam, 11th canto. Knowledge and realization does not become pakka unless you hear from multiple sources. It's right there in the 11th canto. So Sri Jiva Goswami says, if the Guru starts binding the disciple, in the Bhakti Sandarbha, he starts binding the disciple, don't go here, don't go there, you can prevent a devotee from going to a non-Vedic charlatan who is cheating them. I hope you are able to understand. You can prevent a devotee from going to a non-Vedic, non-bona fide charlatan who is cheating people. But if there is another devotee who is teaching proper Shastra, and you don't allow a person under you to go to them just because of jealousy, your own kalyan cannot be ensured, your own benefit cannot be ensured, and that poor devotee will also suffer under you. Therefore, a person should only become a guide or a teacher to somebody when they have a broad heart of letting them go when they are ready to go. If a person doesn't have that broad heart, there is no point of trying to be, because there are people who could not control people outside in the material world, so become devotees and try to control people here in the temple. That should not be the case with us. Therefore, it's very important that our tendencies for controlling others, which failed in the material world, should not be exercised inside the devotee community. And if you are in the receiving end, if you are the victim of such control, now I'm not saying about you, I'm just saying in general. I'm not discussing specific cases here. If you find yourself to be on the receiving end or the victim of such a controlling a person of such a controlling tendency, Shastra gives no obligation to stay under a person who doesn't liberate you. There is no obligation to stay under a person who doesn't liberate you. Sa vidya ya vimuktaye. That is knowledge which liberates you. That is not knowledge which binds you. The Upanishads speak very clearly. Nahi ekasmat guror jnanam susthiram syat supushkalam. Hearing from one person will not give stable knowledge. Therefore, on the Bhagavatam class, we invite multiple speakers. Otherwise, I should speak every day, isn't it? No. Because hearing from multiple people gives strength. Therefore, taking guidance from multiple people, learning from various sources, having various doubts, resolving those doubts, then getting realized knowledge. That is the process of advancing on the path. Not that I will put blinders on you and you walk only as I am telling you to walk. That is not going to liberate the disciple. That will sooner or later put that devotee into trouble. If not sooner, later, definitely it is going to put the devotee into trouble. Because as long as we don't go through troubles, philosophical troubles, and don't come out of them, we will not gain maturity. And a person who is preventing us from getting into philosophical troubles, or who is not allowing us to even have an opportunity to hear various points of view, is preventing us from having the capability for harmonious reconciliation of various points of view. Therefore, that person cannot ultimately ensure our benefit, even though in the immediate run, such a person may seem to be ensuring our benefit. Alright, Sri Jiva Goswami says in Bhakti Sandarbha, Duratah namaskaram. दूर से नमस्कार करना है ऐसे व्यक्ति को, नमस्कार करना है, ऑलराइट, पर कैसे नमस्कार करना है? दूर से नमस्कार. From far away you have to do namaskar to such a person. Don't go near them, otherwise they'll pull you in their, control net. I hope you are able to understand. So that is how you should understand. I hope that is alright. Thank you very much. Prabhu, we have time? End? Okay, ठीक है. So Harshil Prabhu will take one-on-one. ठीक है. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.